Yo, it's been a minute. I was on vacation. Luckily, I did not take a vacation from watching a bunch of random movies. Still got it. And when that occasion happens, when I watch a bunch of movies that I want to talk about, that sets up for what I like to call a movie dump. Let's go. Jurassic World Dominion. Dominion? Is that what the new Jurassic World is called? Yeah, Dominion. Okay, what can I say about this new Jurassic World movie? It's a fucking mess. I really wish that they just chose to make a movie about either the original Jurassic Park cast or the Jurassic World cast, because when they try to squeeze it all together, it doesn't work. The entire goal is to get all of these characters that you know and love into one place at the same time. That means over an hour of setup and travel. There's so many locations, it's gross. Actually, I think we checked off every single country in the world in the Jurassic World. Still got it. They introduce a ton of new worthless characters to try and gather all the familiar characters into one place. And all that time, the first hour or so of the movie is spent driving and flying and talking and exposition and explanation, and frankly, the entire plot to get everyone together, it's fucking dumb. Let's put it this way. There's a lot more focus on prehistoric manufactured grasshoppers than dinosaurs. I mean, who doesn't prefer seeing giant grasshoppers than dinosaurs? You know what I'm saying? All those suspenseful, terrifying scenes with the enormous grasshoppers. What the fuck? I did love seeing scenes with the original Jurassic Park cast, just those guys, but we only got 2 or 3 of those scenes. When there were dinosaurs, a few of those scenes were pretty cool. And the dinosaurs themselves, I thought they looked great. This whole thing, though, was a bad, sloppy attempt at mixing nostalgia with the new generation, and it didn't work. This movie really was a mess. Too many characters, the plot was too convoluted. It was lame. Very disappointing. The Lost City! We got a Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum rom-com on our hands, folks. She plays an archaeological romance novelist. First try, not bad. Turns out she may be able to translate the location of a secret, ancient, buried treasure. So evil rich guy, Daniel Radcliffe, he decides to kidnap her to have her help him find the buried treasure. Channing Tatum is the cover model for her romance novels, and he decides to go in and save her. And this leads to the type of romantic comedy that you completely expect it to be. Personally, I thought it was charming and silly and fun. It's a great movie to put on and laugh at, and every once in a while go, aww. Brad Pitt was absolutely the best part of the movie, and I would love an entire prequel and or sequel just about that character, because he was great and hilarious. The Outfit. Have any of you guys heard of this movie? I feel like it totally flew under the radar, and that aggravates me because I loved this movie. It takes place in 1950s Chicago, and it centers around a tailor shop, and the owner of this tailor shop, who is a suit cutter, his store is a storefront for the mafia. While the mafia business goes on, he just minds his business and cuts suits, you know? One night, things get out of hand, and this guy has to use his charm and smarts to outwit the mobsters to stay alive and make sure that an entire war between mobsters doesn't break out at his business. As I was watching this, I found myself completely submersed in the story. It's completely unpredictable, and I love that it takes place in one set location over one night. It's suspenseful, and it's violent, and it's a great take on the gangster genre. Mark Rylance just kills it as you slowly learn about who he is throughout this story. By the end, I was very happy with the twists and turns that I was taking on. Kept me on my toes, kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time. Please check it out. It's a great movie. Liked it a lot. Scream 2022. Here we go again. Another Scream. At this point, you pretty much know what you're gonna get, so going into it, you just kinda gotta sit back and enjoy the ride. And you know what? I did enjoy the ride, even though this is like, what, the seventh one? The seventh Scream, right? Seventh? I still had a lot of fun. There's a lot of good, juicy kills, and it still sticks to that mythology that the series set up for itself. I was not disappointed. It was a bloody good time. And yeah, I definitely predicted who the killer was, or killers were. I predicted it. Rumble! This one is a non-Pixar animation, so take that how you will. I think it was a cute, totally fine flick. It's perfect to watch with your kid and or kids. In this world, monsters exist, and there is a monster wrestling league. There's a town that completely relies on this sport, and they just lost their champion to another city. So they need to find a new champion to save the soul of their town. It's got high stakes and some pretty good humor and some deep family-rooted things that I think the audience can connect to. It's pretty good. It's at least a good substitute for other kids' movies if you parents are getting sick of those. Come on! This one has independent movie vibes all over it, and it totally worked for me. As you know, independent movies are always kind of a risk, and I believe that this one paid off and is worth your time. Joaquin Phoenix is a character that realizes he needs to reconnect with his sister and her son. He doesn't really know his nephew at all. He comes to visit them, and then his sister gets pulled away by a separate family issue. And then Joaquin Phoenix offers to watch the kid while she's away. And the core of this movie is an uncle and a nephew getting to know each other. It is a lot of a kid asking kid questions. Sometimes it's hilarious, sometimes it's annoying, and sometimes it's a lot deeper than you would expect. Obviously, Joaquin Phoenix is great. He's one of the best. While watching it, I did find myself wondering how much of this movie is improv versus how much of it is scripted. A lot of it seems natural, some of it feels off. Specifically, I think this is a good movie for parents because they can definitely relate to it, and it does know how to tug on those heartstrings a little bit. So be ready for that. You might tear up a little bit. Overall, it's a solid little movie about connecting with family. It's worth checking out. So that wraps up another movie dump. Feel free to check out my suggestions. Let me know what you think. See ya! Subscribe! I don't know if this was in the previous two Jurassic World movies, but I noticed this a few times. People will be hiding, like they do in Jurassic World and Jurassic Park movies, and a dinosaur will show up, and they have to say to the other person, "What the hell is that?" And the other person will just fire off knowledge about this dinosaur like they're a fucking encyclopedia. Well, that's the Gigabitosaurus. It shoots electricity from its eyeballs. Well, what the hell is that? Well, that's the Sneaselotamimus. It sneezes whenever it wants to eat apples. Stop ruining suspense with bullshit dinosaur facts, okay?